Now the serious work begins.
All right, Jake Tapper reporting on this first day of President-elect Obama's new life, reporting from Chicago. And in many cities all across the country last night, it was as if the local team had won the World Series or the Super Bowl. Barack Obama's supporters danced in the streets, wept, halted traffic, and lifted their voices in prayer. Here's ABC's David Muir.
It was an extraordinary image today. From Atlanta to Washington, Americans were lined up to buy newspapers.
This is a historic day. We want to be part of it.
With so much demand, newspapers had to restart their presses, printing the images now more powerful than words. Two jubilant Iowa supporters in the state where it all started. An embrace in Philadelphia, and tears in Denver as Obama was named president-elect. Into the early morning hours, there were spontaneous celebrations from Atlanta to Seattle to the nation's capital.
I have never in my life experienced anything quite as incredible. It was incredible.
Today, even Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said she couldn't let the day pass without taking note of an extraordinary election.
President-elect Obama was inspirational, and I'm certain he will continue to be.
Already, more than 50,000 people have signed this wall put up at the Lincoln Memorial congratulating Obama. One New Jersey father was so proud he woke this morning and drove his children to Washington.
I woke them up this morning and I said, let's get in the car, we're going down to D.C. We have some history to take care of.
It was a lesson playing out in schools across this country today.
It's done something that hasn't been done in past few elections. It brought more of the nation together.
I thought that my one vote could just change the world.
In this Republican Cincinnati neighborhood today, three sisters put their home back together after opening it up to the Obama campaign. Their county voted Democratic for the first time since LBJ. They thought of their neighbors when Obama reached out last night, even to those who didn't vote for him.
It was a moment in time. I think that was when I was the most choked up.
And then there was this woman who told us just yesterday that an Obama win would change the future for her grandchildren. Today we found her at their school.
I am so happy. It's beautiful. It's something to see, and the grandchildren, I'm so happy, and everybody, for everybody.
There has been enormous interest, Charlie, in saving the newspapers on this day after, as you know. And in fact, we found on eBay, the New York Times is now selling for $199 is one bid. But before folks go out to eBay, just check the newsstand. We heard today the Times printed another 75,000 copies. Save some money.
All right, David Muir, thanks very much, down in Columbus, Ohio. And George Stephanopoulos is joining us now. George, there's some unfinished business, I guess, to go over. Let's talk about the total vote, because we thought this was going to be such an extraordinary record. And I think we have the graphic that shows exactly what the vote is now. And, well, it's small print, so I'm having trouble reading it, but it's 56 and 63, is that right? That's 119 million, 120 million votes. That's actually not quite a record, but there are still some votes to be counted. What happened?
And not even really close to what both campaigns were expecting, more than 130 million Americans to come to the polls. What basically happened is, Charlie, Republicans didn't show up. In the last election back in 2004, Republicans and Democrats split the electorate about 37% each. Last night there was a 7% gap between Democrats and Republicans.
The Republicans, the Obama people turned out, the McCain people didn't, obviously, as we saw from the result. Some states that were still very close when we left the air last night, the North Carolina vote, for instance, at the count as it stands now, 100% of the precincts reporting. You can see how close that is, a 15,000 vote win in North Carolina for Barack Obama. Indiana was still uncertain also when we left the air, and there